stomping on them bitter ones.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back once again to Vicious Rants. And of course, I'm your host, your YouTube messiah and often imitated, never duplicated superstar, Tim Vicious. And gonna talk about SummerSlam was in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Now, before we get into the show, talk about, of course, big highlights up until then. NXT Saturday night, beautiful show. I'm not going to go and try and compare, you know, because they're two completely different brands, you know, one being the actual WWE product and the other being the NXT product. That's what it is, plain and simple. You know, as much as people want to go and say, oh, well, they're in the same company and all. Yeah, they are, but you know what? They're two different brands. They're tailored to two different types of audiences. So that's what it is, plain and simple. So no, because that's like comparing a freaking Ring of Honor show to a WWE show. Seriously. Now with that said, TakeOver, beautiful show. Absolutely loved it from start to finish. Especially at the end with Karl and Gargano. You know, it's really just, I can't put an emphasis on how great them two worked that match. Now, on to SummerSlam. Actually, before we get into SummerSlam, I'm sorry. Big news that did drop today, as of today of this recording. Next week, they're going to be having a new King of the Ring tournament, and I don't know about you guys, but King Vicious sounds kind of nice. What do you guys think, huh? I think that could work, you know? So, not to drop hints or spoilers or anything, but yeah. Now let's get into the show. SummerSlam pre-show match, Oney Lorcan going against Drew Gulak, and oh my god, this was good. Really nice start, you know, it looked real, like you could hear the actual thuds and the hits with each other. And not only that, if you know freaking Oney Lorcan, you know for a fact, he's a fucking tough-ass son of a bitch. The motherfucker would fight freaking Godzilla if he had to. Or even if he could. You know? Of course, we all know on how much I love Gulak. You know? Freaking Philly boy. Do Philly proud, son. You know? Really liked on how, you know, really dug on how while Oney was going at it, physical and striking, as well as with hitting with the standard wrestling moves, Gulak was really focusing on like the stretching them. I thought that was really cool, you know. Now the match wound up eventually ending with Gulak getting the win with how it went. The ref, Oney, he wound up snapping, had a chair. Looked like he was about to go and hit it. Threw it down. Ref went to go toss the chair out. Next thing you know, Gulak, boom, punched to the throat. And then next thing you know, hit him with the Cyclone Crush. 1, 2, 3. That was it. So next match we got, it's pre-show Apollo Crews versus Buddy Murphy. And I know what y'all are thinking. What the fuck? Apollo Crews versus Buddy Murphy? Why is this on a pre-show? I'ma get to that. But before I do, little possible subconscious. This is just me thinking out loud here, but you go back to the big Kevin Owens promo where he shot his shot and called Shane out, saying that he had this talent, that talent in the back, and they aren't getting used, and excuse me, two of those names were 1, Apollo Crews, and 2, Buddy Murphy. Well, you know. So, hey, we've been saying we want more talent on TV. This is more talent on TV. It's not like they could just pluck them out and put them randomly. Although they kind of did, so yeah. Fuck! Okay. Anyways, Murphy, he was striking pretty fast and hard, had a nice good solid back and forth until the end came where Eric Rowan came out and proceeded to beat the shit out of Buddy Murphy. And at the end, all you could hear him say is, "Say, don't you ever have my name come out your mouth again," or something along those lines. Something along those lines, paraphrasing, mind you. And the reason on that, if any of y'all have not been keeping up, on SmackDown, Roman has been attacked via forklift, and then on Raw, almost T-boned in a car. And Roman went over those tapes, saw Buddy Murphy, and gave him a good old-fashioned gave him a good old-fashioned interrogation where, you know, said, basically, he was like, "I'm going to give you a choice, light meat or dark meat," and proceeded to beat the shit out of Murphy, and he said, "I want a name." He said, "Rowan." "Brian's Rowan?" "No, Brian wasn't there. It was just Rowan. That's all I know, I swear." And then he left it at that. So that's why Rowan beat the shit out of Murphy. Now we come to the final pre-show match of the night, and Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross defending their coveted women's tag titles against the IIconics. And, well, if you paid attention last week, I explained in a very piss-poor manner, mind you. I'm not as eloquent at explaining things in a certain kind of way. Explaining certain things in a certain way as some folks who are a lot more savvier than me. I'm not even going to bother to name their names. If y'all listen to this, you listen to different podcasts, I'm pretty sure you get an idea. But anyways, you know, I love the idea of tag teams. I'm a tag team guy. I did a lot of tag teaming. But there is a lot of hard work that comes with it on the business end. Because you got, I'm plucking random number out of the air. You got 40 people on your roster. Just 40 people. Okay, now you're going to make a tag team division. So now, out of those 40, now you have to have these two, these two, these two, these two, and so on. And you have to keep those specific. And then when you eventually run out of the same cycle of Team A versus B versus C versus D and so on, you're going to have to eventually rehash and bring in new ones. You know, that's where the problem lies in, because then you got to bring in new talent, and then that brings in more pay and more and such. It's hard to... I'm not the best at explaining the business end, but I try as best as I can. If you're not following as best as I said it right now, suggest you go back to last week's and take a listen on that. But anyways, love the idea of a tag division. Just, my thing is, given the women's roster is already is a very small, shallow pool, if you will, not quite sure making tag titles is necessarily, I don't know, just making tag titles, it just, unless you're going to have different girls teaming up, or, you know, things like that, or even yet, having girls come up from, like, NXT or NXT UK, you know, because, honestly, and I'm just picking random names out of the air. Just imagine like the likes of Jenny and Kayla Ray going after Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. You know? So yeah. Anyways, as far as this match went, had nice good back and forth. The IIconics, they wound up eventually leading. Nikki Cross was pretty much the team punching bag Highlight of the match, though, had to be a Little Miss Bliss. Whew. Not even in the full show, and I had to start doing the heart. I had to start getting my heart meds. Dirty old dog I am. Alexa Bliss came out, and her outfit was freaking Buzz Lightyear. And just when Peyton Royce was about to go and attack her, she did just like Buzz, and stopped her dead in her tracks like that. I fell to the floor laughing on that one. Yeah. So yeah, it was a good match. I dug it. It did not have a pre-show match kind of feel. It felt like a regular match. You know? Match came to an end though with Alexa getting the Twisted Bliss on Peyton Royce, getting the 1, 2, 3. That's it. So your winners and still tag champs, Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. And they had a match the following night on Raw against Asuka and Kairi, and they defended them and still retained as well. So, honestly, the way what I'm hoping for, I would like to see them being the most defending champions. So that way they can say, you know, Sasha and Bayley were the first. Okay, good. Peyton and Billy were the longest reigning, yeah. But who went out there and put that belt on the line more than anyone else? You know, just thinking like that. Now with that said, let's get into the main show. Starting off with Becky Lynch, Natayla, and it is a submission match. A nice little tussle, so to say, at the start. You know, good back and forth with the girls. Probably one of the cooler moments in the match had to be when Natayla, she had Becky. Becky did a shoulder check on the ring apron, or the ring post, I should say. Fuck. Next, you know, Natayla got up on the top rope, wound up hooking the legs, and actually did a sharpshooter through that, which I thought was, honest to God, I thought that was extremely clever. You know? Liked on how both girls went for each other's finishers, and I know there's an old wrestler's code, you don't take someone's finisher, but if it's in a match and you work it out, yeah, it's fine, because, you know, especially if you're, you know, if you're a heel and you're doing it, you get heat, and that's what's great on that. And if you're a face and you're doing it, then it's a face saying, well, I beat you, and I took you out with your own move. So now what? So yeah, that's on. So yeah, there's the reasoning behind that, and it works. But long story short, match came to an end. Becky got the win with the disarmer. So yeah, absolutely love though on how Natayla, she did not tap instantly, and I always adamant on this with submissions. Do not tap immediately. Hold out. Be like, no, God, yeah, I give. You know, sell it. Sell like you can like you can handle the pain, and then go with it. Now on Raw, she wound up. Natayla came out, which my first thought was Natalia's out on Raw with a live mic. Why? And then she started prattling on about having dreams about her dad and all, and I kind of spaced out right up until the end when she said she lost and she's got a dislocated shoulder, which then the music I didn't think I was going to hear for a good while finally did. Sasha Banks returned, came out, gave Natty a hug, and then proceeded to beat the shit out of her, ripped off a wig showing she don't have purple hair no more, she's blue. So now, according to wrestling science, the reason why Sasha is heel is because of her hair color. That's got to be it, plain and simple. So yeah, Sasha proceeded to beat the shit out of Natty, which made the entire crowd go nuts and chant, "Thank you, Sasha." So, not only did Becky Lynch on Sunday prove she is Canada's great hero and Natalia's not, but then Sasha Banks then showed Natayla on how much Canada really does not like her. Yeah. So, moving forward, next matchup, if you can even call it that, Ziggler versus Goldberg. And it was a Goldberg match. What do you expect? You know, Ziggler got 2 super kicks in, and then Goldberg hit a spear and a jackhammer. After that, while Ziggler was down on the ground with the, sucking air, looking like he's trying to piece himself back together, he's got a mic. Excuse me. Calls out Goldberg, calls him like a dickhead and shit like that. Again, paraphrasing, mind you. Next thing you know, Goldberg comes back in, spears him, and then starts to walk off. Then Ziggler calls him out again. Goes back, spears him again. Walks off. Then Ziggler calls him out once more, and then spears him again. Just, Dolph, seriously, man. Listen, we know you're concussion prone. Dude, shut your mouth, because I'm pretty sure at this point your brain got turned into scrambled eggs, man. Just stop, for your own sake. Ugh. Excuse me. You know, and honest to God, the only thing I can say about with Goldberg is, rewind the clock a few years ago, I did agree on Goldberg making a promo saying, not many characters out there now try and have that hero figure. And in some ways, I think some characters should, since, you know, kids watch the show. Other than that, funny little story. Take a side story real quick. I shared this once with my good buddy Kenny Killa on his old Sunday Segway podcast. And I do my best to try not to make this show about me, but this is a Goldberg story that I have, and it's absolutely funny. I was about 13, I was 13, my brother was 14. My dad took us to a record shop to go and buy tickets for WCW coming to town that day. They were also doing meet and greets with Goldberg and some of the Nitro girls. And of course, this old hound dog, I was of course near the Nitro girls the entire time, but my brother, he was immersed with Goldberg, just seeing this larger than life figure. And my brother also is a big football fan. He always was ever since I can remember. He knew Goldberg from the time when he was playing NFL. So when he saw him, he was then like, hey, I'm a big fan, Mr. Goldberg. I remember seeing you play for the Bears. Now, keep in mind, he never once played for the Bears. He played for the Falcons. He said the Bears, next thing you know, Goldberg just slammed his hands out. What? And just like pumped his head like that, and his neck disappeared, and it just like every muscle popped, and my brother was like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I had to mention that. Okay. Now next match. Ricochet, AJ Styles. So first thing want to address is Ricochet coming out dressing up like Nightwing. From a comic book fan perspective, I absolutely love it. However, I'm not the biggest Nightwing fan. Personally, I prefer Tim Drake, and I would have preferred the Red Robin suit. And I'm talking the original Red Robin suit, not the New 52, and especially not the DC Rebirth suit. I'm talking the original one, like the one that was in Kingdom Come. And now that I had that little comic book nerd moment, let's get back to the match. Decent match, really liked on how it went, liked on how Styles was focusing on Ricochet's one leg, his knee, and more so because you look on Ricochet's matches since he's gotten on the main roster, 9 out of 10 of them, everyone just focuses on grounding him, grounding him, grounding him. They never focus on keeping him grounded. You work the leg, that's keeping him grounded. Now, I absolutely dug on how Ricochet fought back and was doing it one-legged, so he was like literally being a one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest, and I'm not talking being like a Zach Gallen kind of way either. But I absolutely dug the hell out of it, you know. Now, match wound up coming to an end with Styles. He caught Ricochet mid-air as Ricochet was going for a moonsault, and then boom, hit him with the Styles Clash. Now, some people are getting mad because some people were throwing out there on Twitter and all that shit like, oh, that's the same finish Styles did with Low Key X amount of years ago at this promotion. Wait, you mean to tell me that a finish wasn't original? I am shocked. Shocked, I tell you. How will we ever survive? Get over it, folks. Don't go getting all pissy like that. If you're mentioning it for history reasons, cool, man. That's awesome. But if you're gonna do it just to be a dick and yeah, then just seriously, fuck off. Next matchup, we got Amber Moon versus Bayley, and I don't know, man. The crowd was kind of dead for it, and I chalk that up to on them being psyched up over Styles and Ricochet, but Twitter was shitting on it too, which I don't fucking know, man. I was watching this and I was really liking it. I dug it. I thought it was a solid match. I mean, just because it didn't have 500 flips and 27 suicide dives and 5,000 near falls, you know, doesn't mean that it wasn't a good match. But I thought it was a decent match. Now, Moon, she started out striking hard, you know, really liked it. Now, Bayley, the one thing that I did like the most about with this was the way Bayley was fighting, because she wasn't fighting like she was a champ. Like a champ just putting the title on the line. She was fighting like she was a champ with the title on the line, fighting to keep it, because she knows Amber could take it, you know, if that makes sense. Like, there are some contenders you're like, oh, dude, that ain't nothing. I could squash that person. I could squash that fucker. But then you get some opponents you're like, I'm going to have to work my ass off on this one. And that's the kind of way Bayley was fighting. I absolutely love that. Now, match wound up coming to an end with Bayley. She hit like this really hellacious Bayley to belly off the top and got the 1, 2, 3. That was it. So, yeah. Decent match. I dug it. I thought it was good. Now, next matchup, we got Shane McMahon versus Kevin Owens. And if Kevin loses, then Kevin is forced to quit the WWE. And before the match even starts, Shane McMahon, being Shane McMahon, pulls out a trump card and says, hold the phone. I am, to make sure this match is called straight down the middle, I'm bringing out a special enforcer. And, of course, he brought out the smelly hipster Elias. Yeah. So Elias is outside. Basically, the first bit of the match starts with Owens arguing with Elias, you know, which, okay, makes sense, you know. Now, for the most part in the match, Shane was leading, but Owens, you know, he started picking up momentum. He was getting on a roll. He was moving. He was going good. I freaking love, and if y'all know me, y'all know I freaking love Owens, man. The guy is like the guy is freaking amazing. For a guy his size and build, he can move very much so like a cruiserweight. You know? And if you don't believe me, go back, watch some of his earlier matches. Hell, watch his debut match in NXT when he went against Juice Robinson. You know? Go back, watch that. Watch his main roster debut match with John Cena. You know, watch on how he did that. You go back and watch, you know, I'll even also say, go and watch the match with Owens, Dean Ambrose, Last Man Standing. And we all know I hate Last Man Standing matches. But that was a fucking good one. Now, Owens, he can put on a fucking show. He knows how to fucking work. Now, at one point, Owens, he was tempted with a chair. Elias, he grabbed the chair, tossed it in. And he was very much so like in the pre-show, just... And Shane just sitting there like, go ahead. Right here. Plant one right there on me. You know, calling him, tempting him, because Shane even said, I don't have to pin you or submit you. I could get a win from a DQ, a count out, anything like that. Excuse me. And then he throws the chair out, starts getting in Elias's face, then throws him. Shane starts getting on him, then next thing you know, there's a dual ref bump. So yeah, while there's a dual ref bump, they start swinging at each other, and then eventually it comes to the end with Owens, boom, low blow, kick right to the ding ding, and then pop a stunner. 1, 2, 3, that is it. So Kevin Owens wins. So remind me again on, so Kevin Owens is from Maryville, Quebec, Canada. And according to the old urban legends, Vince always has people lose when they're in their hometown, or in this case, home country. And remind me again, I just said Owens won, right? Yeah. Now, I know some of y'all are going to have me eat them words. It's coming up in a minute, but I'm going to explain on how that's bullshit afterwards. Up next, Charlotte Flair going against Trish Stratus, and oh dear God almighty. Again, heart pills. Needed them. Oh my God on heaven. And Trish even said this is going to be her last match. It's her retirement match. And I don't blame her. The girl did everything she ever could in the business. Not even could, but wanted to, and did so much more. Not only that, man, I made this an argument back when I was in college. Canada's second greatest export outside of maple syrup has got to be drop-dead gorgeous women wrestlers. You go in, you look for any women's wrestler that has come out of Canada within the past 20, okay, we'll even say the past 30 years. Not one of them is not, you look at any of them, you're like, whoa. Prove me wrong. So yeah, as far as with this goes, really loved on how Trish, she still showed that she had it, you know, she still could work and go. You know, really liked it. Also, Charlotte, she was leading, and probably one of the cooler things I think I ever saw was on how when Charlotte, she had a figure 4 in, she was trying to get to a figure 8, but Trish somehow countered it by arching up into arching up herself, and yeah, so it wound up relieving the, I don't know on how that exactly, but just seeing that, just like, whoa. So yeah, I thought that was cool. You know, it was a good solid match. I dug it. Charlotte, she wound up getting the win with the figure 8. Now, I know what, now back to what I was saying earlier about with people losing in their hometowns and all, and yes, Trish is from Toronto. However, it's the retirement match. Where was the payoff if she would have won? Where was the payoff? Yes, Charlotte's a heel and she can go back and get her heat on Tuesday, you know, even if she would have lost. But again, I ask you, where's the payoff if she won? Because Charlotte now has that mantra of saying she is the queen of all queens. She's the queen of all eras. She destroyed she destroyed Trish Stratus. She's a 9-time women's champion, or 8-time, whatever the hell. You know, she's guaranteed a first round Hall of Famer when her time comes. You know, where's the payoff for her getting a loss? That's all I'm asking. Now, with that said, next matchup, we got Randy Orton, Kofi Kingston, and this was good. This was a good, solid match. I freaking love this. This was probably Kofi's most definitive title match to date, simply because of the fact of, you know, given the history with Randy and Kofi, you know. Had good, solid tie-up. Liked on how Randy, he was getting, of course, like really good and methodical. There was a lot of solid back and forth moments in it. And before the match even started, the one thing that freaking blew up on Twitter that was hilarious was lady was down on her phone playing, like doing something, and then just right out of nowhere, boom, one of the pancakes Kofi was throwing out caught her in the side of the head. And it got caught on camera. I could just picture if Vince saw that, like, ha ha ha! She, that pancake hit her right in the fucking head. Ha ha ha! God damn, that's good shit. Yeah, I could picture Vince doing that. So yeah, this decent match, I absolutely loved it. The ending, it ended in a double count out because Randy, he started beating the shit out of Kofi right in front of Kofi's wife and kids, which then, you know, like hit the switch on Kofi, like, you don't fuck with my family, and then they started brawling harder, and then it led to a double count out with then Kofi going under the ring, getting a Singapore cane. Excuse me. And then proceeding to crack that cane over him. So yeah, a lot of people were saying bullshit for the finish, but its story, it leads. Yeah, you could say it's a bullshit ending, but it's leading to another match down the road. Because, let's just say for the sake of argument, Kofi got the win in the middle of the ring. How do you justify a rematch next month? Randy gets the win. How fast do you think people are going to blow up saying that it was bullshit that Randy won? And that Kofi's got to fucking fight to get in a rematch now that they don't do guaranteed rematches. You know? Yeah, it was a gaga bullshit finish, but you know what? It's the fucking lead on to the greater story. So go with it. Next up we got Finn Balor, Bray Wyatt, with Bray doing with the Fiend debut, and holy shit nuts was this fucked up, man. Bray Wyatt's new entrance. Wow. I felt like I needed a teddy bear and a security blanket because I was that petrified. I'm 34 years old and I'm man enough to admit I needed a teddy bear and a security blanket. I was scared. So yeah, Bray's entrance just like, whoa, fuck, shit nuts. And Bray just pretty much dominated the entire thing, and the match came to an end with Bray doing the mandible claw, which I'm hoping Bray learned on how to do a working claw and a shoot claw. Or not a working claw and a real claw. You know? So yeah. Hopefully we can get, hopefully we get more out of this as it goes on. So yeah, next matchup, we come now to the main event of the night. Seth Rollins, Brock Lesnar, Universal title. Seth right at the start, Seth having an answer for everything Brock's throwing at him. Now Brock started working on them ribs that were all taped up, really bad and bruised and battered. But, you know, every time Brock went for a suplex, Seth landed on his feet. Drop kick, punches, swings, kicks, anything. He was coming at him with everything he got. Now, Brock, of course, was dominating fast, but Seth, man, like I said, he had an answer for everything Brock had. You know, when Brock, yeah, he was getting the upper hand and beating the shit out of him, but once Seth figured out how to move around it, got around that and then started beating the shit out of him, beat him up, laid him on the table, and then Seth did a frog splash from the ring, from the corner to Brock onto the Spanish table, made it explode. Excuse me. Ugh. Got some friggin' congestion. Sorry about that. That's why I've been coughing so much. But did that and then freaking got him in. Seth got the win. How he did, he countered the F5 just as Brock was about to go for the F5 and bring him down. Seth landed on his feet, hit him with a super kick, and then hit him with a curb stomp, and not just one curb stomp. That was 3 curb stomps, and it wasn't 3 back to back to back. He hit 2 different ones during the course of the match. So that was the 3rd stomp of the night that he hit him with, and then he got the 1, 2, 3, and your winner and new Universal Champ, Seth Rollins. So that is it for this week's show, folks. Do not forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, go back, watch some of the other episodes. Make sure you look for me on my Twitter at Tim Vicious. You also got one of them Facebook gimmicks, Tim Ash. If you look for me on my Facebook gimmick, let me know you found me on there from here, or my Twitter at Tim Vicious. I don't think I can keep John going. Huge ups to my executive producer, Ali Rewan Ben, who provided the music for this week's show. Make sure y'all check it out. It's on iTunes, Spotify, and such. Details are down below. Also, you want one of these sweet Ali Rewind shirts, hit me up and I'll talk that man for you. Show him some love and support. Also, huge up. Also, big thanks to new contributor to the show, LFC Lingerie Fighting Championship. It's a little bit of wrestling, a little bit of MMA, and a whole lot of hot girls wearing a little bit of nothing. God bless America. Also, folks, do not forget to follow all of these cool-ass cats right here on the Twitter. Axel Mulligan, Kenny Killer, DSB_IV, Cranky Asshole, Dazzy MWPN, Sergeant Curry Pants, and folks, like I always tell y'all, you love me great, you hate me. Fuck you.